tried to travel to the backrooms as a joke. I don't think it's a joke anymore. I never really believed in the backrooms. It just seemed like an urban legend, a creepypasta that some bored internet users had cooked up. But then again, I also never really believed in ghosts or aliens, until I saw them with my own eyes. It started as a joke, really. My friends and I were hanging out one night, scrolling through the depths of Reddit as usual, when we stumbled upon a post about the backrooms. You know the one, the endless, disorienting maze of off-white corridors and empty rooms, filled with the incessant hum of fluorescent lights and the ever-present sense of dread. "Dude, we should totally try to find a way to get in there," my friend Mike said, half joking. The rest of us laughed it off, but something about the idea stuck with me. Maybe it was the thrill of the unknown, or the desire to prove that I wasn't a scared little kid. Either way, I found myself scouring the internet for information on how to no-clip into the backrooms. The instructions were vague at best, filled with esoteric references and cryptic warnings, but I was determined. One Friday night, I gathered my friends and we headed out to an abandoned warehouse on the edge of town. This was supposedly a weak spot in the fabric of reality, a place where one could slip through the cracks and into the backrooms. As we stood in the darkness, heart pounding, I took a deep breath and tried to relax my mind, just like the forums had instructed. And then, suddenly, it happened. The world seemed to shift and blur around me, and I felt a strange tingling sensation wash over my body. Before I knew it, I was standing in a dimly lit corridor, the air thick and stale. My friends were nowhere to be seen. I don't know how long I wandered those endless halls, jumping at every sound, my imagination running wild. The hum of the lights was maddening, and the suffocating sense of isolation was almost overwhelming. I kept expecting to turn a corner and see something that would confirm this was all just a prank, a bad dream. But I never did. Now, as I sit here scribbling this message on a torn scrap of paper, I'm beginning to accept the truth. This is no joke. The backrooms are real, and I'm trapped. God, I wish I had never taken that first step. I wish I could take it all back. If you're reading this, please, for the love of God, don't try to follow in my footsteps. Stay away from the backrooms. Stay away, or you may end up like me, lost, alone, and terrified in this endless, nightmarish labyrinth. We were gathered in Jake's living room, the dim light from a single lamp casting eerie shadows on the walls. The rain pattered softly against the windows, adding to the tense atmosphere. Jake was scrolling through his phone when he suddenly looked up, eyes wide with excitement. "Guys, check this out," he said, holding up his phone for us to see. "There's a Reddit thread about a haunted office with these creepy backrooms. People say they get lost for hours and see things that shouldn't be there." Emily shivered slightly, her voice tinged with unease. "Are you serious? That sounds like one of those urban legends, but I don't know. It gives me the creeps." Mark leaned back, a skeptical smile on his face. "Oh, come on, Emily. It's probably just a bunch of overactive imaginations, but it might be fun to check out." I nodded, curiosity sparking in my mind. "Maybe. I've always been fascinated by ghost stories, but we should be careful. You know how these things can mess with your head." We exchanged glances, a mix of excitement and apprehension. Little did we know, our curiosity was about to lead us into a nightmare beyond our wildest fears. With the mixed feelings of excitement and terror, we made the decision to go to that office and explore the haunted backrooms for ourselves. The building itself was a hulking, decrepit structure, its windows shattered and walls covered in graffiti. We squeezed through a gap in the chain-link fence and made our way inside, flashlights cutting through the thick darkness. The air was musty, filled with the scent of decay and neglect. As we wandered through the labyrinthine hallways, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. Every creak of the floorboards and rustle of the wind outside made my heart race. My friends, however, seemed unfazed, laughing and joking as we moved deeper into the building. Eventually, we stumbled upon a door labeled "Staff Only." It was slightly ajar, revealing a pitch-black stairwell leading down into the basement. Against my better judgment, we decided to explore further. The air grew colder as we descended, the light from our flashlights casting eerie shadows on the damp concrete walls. At the bottom of the stairs, we found ourselves in a series of narrow, dimly lit corridors. The place had an unsettling vibe, and I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck standing up. We passed by old storage rooms filled with rusted filing cabinets and forgotten office supplies, each one more ominous than the last. Then we found it, a door at the end of the hall, different from the others. It was newer, sturdier, with a sign that read, "Authorized personnel only." My friends, always eager to push the limits, insisted we go inside. The door creaked loudly as we opened it, revealing a surprisingly well-lit room. The contrast was jarring. Inside, the room was pristine, almost sterile, with white walls and bright fluorescent lights. There were rows of desks with computers, all of them on but displaying nothing but a blue screen. The air was filled with a low hum, like the sound of a distant generator. As we cautiously entered the room, the door slammed shut behind us with a deafening bang. We all jumped, spinning around to see that the door had no handle on the inside. Panic set in as we realized we were trapped. Suddenly, the computers flickered to life, displaying the same message on each screen. "Welcome to the Backrooms." My friends tried to laugh it off, claiming it was some kind of elaborate prank, but I could see the fear in their eyes. The lights started to flicker, and the hum grew louder, more intense. Shadows seemed to move in the corners of the room, just out of sight. My heart pounded as I shone my flashlight around, but there was nothing there. Without warning, the computers shut off, plunging the room into darkness. We huddled together, our flashlights the only source of light. The air felt thick, almost suffocating. We decided to stick close and find another way out, but as we moved towards the far end of the room, the walls seemed to close in on us. We pounded on the door, screaming for help, but there was no response. Just when I thought it was all over, the door suddenly burst open. We tumbled out into the corridor, gasping for breath. The lights in the hallway flickered back on, and we found ourselves back in the damp, narrow basement. We didn't waste a second. We ran up the stairs, through the maze of hallways, and out of the building as fast as we could. None of us spoke on the drive home, the terror of what we'd experienced still fresh in our minds. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that room, felt the walls closing in. I knew I'd never set foot in that building again, but the memory of the back rooms would haunt me forever. And sometimes, in the dead of night, I still hear that low hum, like a distant generator, reminding me of the horrors that lurk just out of sight, waiting for the next group of foolish explorers.